Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Cortez. And for our lesson today, next lesson for vertical analysis. So last time we did talk about horizontal analysis, right? And before we go to the next topic, we're going to have first a review quiz for lesson number 8 from last week. So all you have to do is get your one-fourth. Get a one-fourth, write your name. You write the subject, name of subject, fundamentals of ABM. You write the day-to-day. Day-to-day is August 27. And I'm going to read the question, and by the way, it is in your slide. I will read the question and I will read the choices. So basically this one is multiple choice. I'm going to read the question and I'm going to read the choices. So for the choices, you write the letter and the correct word. So hindi lang letter yung susulat nyo dito. You have to write the letter and the correct word corresponding to that letter. Para hindi nakakalito. Pag letters lang kasi, I don't know if that is letter A or letter B. Okay, so and after you are done with the quiz, you take a photo of your quiz and send to me the picture of you DM to me. Hindi sa group chat ha. You DM to me the photo of your answers. Okay, so the next one is slide number 1 and also your question number 1. So this is your question number 1. Financial blank analysis applies analytical tools to general purpose financial statements and related data for making business decisions. So that is the question, and I will be reading the choices. So for this question, the choices are letter A, ratio. Letter B, statement. Letter C, cash. Letter D, report. Once again, the choices are letter A, ratio. Letter B, statement. Letter C, cash. Letter D, report. So that is your question number 1. You write the letter and the correct word for this question number 1. Okay, so the next one is question number 2. Financial analysis, understand the company and reduce blank associated with financial information. So that is question number 2. And the choices are letter A, capital. Letter B, uncertainty. Letter C, power. Letter D, losses. So once again, for this question number 2, the choices are A, capital. B, uncertainty. C, power. D. Losses. So that is your question number 2. And next one is question number 3. It means you have enough cash to pay financial obligation within or inside 1 year. It means you have enough cash to pay financial obligation within or inside 1 year. The choices for this question number 3. Letter A, solvency. Letter B, profitability. Letter C, liquidity. Letter D, stability. So once again, the choices for this question number 3. Letter A, solvency. Letter B, profitability. Letter C, liquidity. Letter D, stability. So once again, this is question number 3. This question number 4. The capacity to pay obligations beyond 1 year. The capacity to pay obligations beyond 1 year. The choices for this question number 4. Letter A, profitability. Letter B, solvency. Letter C, accuracy. Letter D, stability. So once again, the choices for this number 4. Letter A, profitability. Letter B, solvency. Letter C, accuracy. Letter D, stability. So let's go to question number 5. It's number 5. Which one is an internal user? Which one is an internal user? Letter A, managers. Letter B, shareholders. Letter C, lenders. Letter D, banks. Which one is an internal user? Letter A, managers. Letter B, shareholders. Letter C, lenders. Letter D, banks. So once again, that is your question number 5. Let's go to question number 6. I repeat, this is number 6. Which one does not belong? Which one does not belong? Letter A, profitability. Letter B, solvency. Letter C, liquidity. Letter D, effectiveness. Which one does not belong? Letter A, profitability. Letter B, solvency. Letter C, liquidity. Letter D, effectiveness. So once again, that is question number 6.
And before we continue guys, pa-subscribe naman muna sa aking munting channel and pa-share ang aking video. Maraming salamat.
Let's go to question number 7. Which can be found in your balance sheet? Which one can be found in your balance sheet? Letter A, interest income. Letter B, interest expense. Letter C, cash. Letter D, revenue. Which one can be found in your balance sheet? Letter A, interest income. Letter B, interest expense. Letter C, cash. Letter D, revenue. Let's go to number 8. So this one is number 8. Which one can be found in your income statement? Which one can be found in your income statement? Letter A, equipment. Letter B, income. Letter C, receivable. Letter D, capital. Which one can be found in your income statement? Letter A, equipment. Letter B, income. Letter C, receivable. Letter D, capital. So once again, this is number 8. It's number 9. Tayo. So this is number 9. This statement shows the financial position of the company. This statement shows the financial position of the company. Letter A, income statement. Letter B, cash flow statement. Letter C, balance sheet. Letter D, statement of equity. Choices for number 9. Letter A, income statement. Letter B, cash flow statement. Letter C, balance sheet. Letter D, statement of equity. So once again, this is question number 9. And this one is question number 10. Comparing a company's performance across time. Comparing a company's performance across time. The choices are letter A, balance sheet. Letter B, financial ratio. Letter C, horizontal analysis. Letter D, vertical analysis. So once again, the choices are letter A, balance sheet. Letter B, financial ratio. Letter C, horizontal analysis. Letter D is vertical analysis. So once again, that is number 10. Let's go to number 11. Comparing a company's financial condition to a base amount. The choices are letter A, trend analysis. Letter B, ratio analysis. Letter C is vertical analysis. Letter D, operational analysis. Once again, the choices for number 11, letter A, trend analysis. Letter B, ratio analysis. Letter C, vertical analysis. Letter D, operational analysis. So once again, that is number 11. So let's go to number 12. So for this question number 12, walang choices. You have to solve for the answer. The cash in 2023 is 400,000 pesos. While the cash for 2022 is 370,000 pesos. Tinatanong dito, be careful guys, tinatanong dito, percentage. What is the percent change? Tumaas, di ba? So mag-ilang percent ang tinaas? Okay, so your answer should be round off the whole number, ha? Round off the whole number. Isang digit or 2 digits lang. Sagot. Whole number. And don't forget to attach the percent sign. Kasi pag walang percent sign yan, mali. So whole number, round off. Then attach the percent sign. Okay, so that is number 12. So don't forget your name, Swan, for the day today, August 27, and the name of the subject, fundamentals of ABM, and take a photo of your 1/4, then send to me. Send to me within our time. Our time is starting, ano, diba? Starting 4:15. Starting 4:15. To send that 4:30. 4:40 yan. 4:40 guys. 4:40 ang deadline. 4:40. Okay, so that is your quiz, and let's go to the lesson today. So fundamentals of ABM, we are now in lesson number 9. Vertical analysis. So huwag malito ha, yung last time our lesson was horizontal. So we are comparing, last time we are comparing across 2 years or 3 years. Ngayon naman, isang taon na yung ating compare. Kasi from our definition last time, when we say vertical analysis, we are comparing an amount to a base amount sa loob lang ng isang taon. And this is our syllabus, and once again, according to our syllabus, we are now in number 2, perform vertical and horizontal analysis of financial statement, whether that is income statement or balance sheet. And for today, our topics are, we only have a couple of topics: the trend analysis, the vertical analysis, and common size balance sheet. Ito yung topic natin for today. And for the learning outcomes, so still another topic. And for the learning outcomes, learning competencies, so by this point in time, we should have known how to define liquidity, solvency, stability, and profitability. So for the next couple of lessons, ito yung ating target: liquidity, solvency, stability, and profitability. I mean, how to measure yung apat na to. And at the end of the topic, you should perform vertical and horizontal analysis of financial statements of a single proprietorship, and you will be able to solve exercises and problems that require computation and interpretation using horizontal analysis, vertical, and various financial ratios. So yung ating mga learning outcomes. Okay, trend analysis, from the word trend, synonymous also with the word pattern. Yung mga data sa inyong mga report or mga data sa inyong mga statement, example, yung benta mo for the last 5 years, no? 2021. So, ano yung benta mo nung 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. So, last 5 years, na mayroon ba siyang pattern? Tumataas ba siya? Kung tumataas siya, ilan yung tinataas niya? Tumataas ba ng 5% per year? Yan. So gusto nang malaman yung pattern for like 5 successive periods or 5 successive years, no? Yun ang sumalaman, yung performance ng iyong negosyo nung nakaraang 5 taon, para malaman mo kung tumataas ba yung benta mo or pantay lang ba siya or pababa ba, no, yung net income
or benta, no? So we call that the pattern, or we call that the trend. Ano ba yung trend? Para ba sang hagdan or para sang pantay or pababa ba siya? Trend yung we should establish the trend or the pattern ng inyong mga financial report or statement. So para malaman yan, we're going to use a tool or analysis tool para malaman yung performance. Now we call that the trend analysis. Okay? So medyo malabo, no? Trend analysis is ang trend, we will show the trend in percentage. Kasi pag amount, no? Masyadong maraming digits yung amount eh. Example, 10,000, di ba? 5 digits yan, di ba? 17,000. So marami siyang digits, no? Mas lalo pag millions na yan, di ba? So we're going to show the trend or the pattern using percentage. Wag naman kasi pag percentage, ano lang yan 3 digits or 2 digits lang gagamitin natin. So mas madali siyang basahin or mas madali siyang i-compare, no? Sa 5 successive years, no? Yan. Now, we call that the trend percent. Now, and how to get the trend percent? Is our formula, the analysis period amount divided by the base period amount. Okay, now, yun ang ating formula, no, to get the percent. Analysis period, ito yung current period, no? Example, to this 2000, if you're going to compare 2021 and 2020, yung analysis period ay yung current, so 2021. Okay? The base period ay yung mas nauna, so 2020, no? So comparing 2021 and 2020, analysis year is the 2021 and the base period is the 2020. So ang base period ay yung pinaka nauna. If you're going to compare the performance of your income for the last 5 years, ang base period ay 2016. Kasi yung pinakauna, di ba? Base period 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. 5 years, no? So we're going to compare, to compute yung percentage, no? So pag gagawa ka ng a statement, no, or analysis, na ito yung a simple format of trend analysis statement for RFC Corporation. Okay? So ito na yung, hindi ito income statement, guys. Ito yung trend analysis na this is a simple form of trend of income statement. Nilagay ko dito, I only have 3 columns, no, for simple presentation, for simple discussion. No? 3 taon lang to, 2010, 2009, and 2008. But actually, no, you can have 5 years or 5 periods. You can compare 5 years. No? 2010, 2009, 2008, 2007, 2006. So, depende sa inyo. You can even compare last 10 years. But for the simple discussion, 3 taon lang muna ang nilagay ko dito. Okay, now, this one is simple income statement. Once again, to educate yung mga hindi pa masyadong familiar sa income statement, ito ay report or financial statement gagawin nyo sa inyong mga negosyo, whether that is small, medium, or medium size, or small or micro type of business, no? Gagawa ka na ito. Kasi let's have this one, no? RF Cortez Corporation. Yan ang pangalan ng company, no? The second line, ilagay mo dyan yung pangalan ng report or financial report na yung gagawin, the income statement. Okay? So once again, income statement shows lahat ng benta, sales, yun, tawag natin dyan, no? Lahat ng puhunan, cost of sales ang tawag natin dyan. Alright? Ilagay mo dyan rin lahat ng gastos. We call those the expenses of the company. Okay? Now, sales minus cost of sales minus expenses is equal to your income before taxes. Okay? So, benta minus puhunan minus gastos is equal to your tubo bago bawasan ng tax. Okay. Yan ang simple format, no? A simple format of your income statement. Gusto mong malaman ang tinubo ng iyong company, ang net income ng iyong company, you're going to prepare this income statement, no? So ginagawa natin tong income statement every end of the year para magbayad ng tax sa BIR, no? Para malaman natin ang ating net income. Now, for the sake of presentation, you can compare yung income mo nung 2010, nung 2009, and 2008. Yan, so comparative, no? Para malaman natin. Example, in 2008, 33, for the simple discussion, 33 pesos ang net income mo noong 2008. Noong 2009, 58 pesos ang net income. Noong 2010, 85 pesos ang iyong net income. Okay? So this one is good, a good business operation kasi tumataas ang iyong net income. 33, 58, and 85. Last 3 years to. No? Now, siyempre, hindi mo alam kung magkano kung ilang percent ang tinaas niyan. Kasi 33 pesos versus 58 versus 85. Hindi mo alam ilang percent pa ang tinataas ng iyong net income for the last 3 years. Ano gusto mong malaman Ano yung percentage, di ba? Percentage increase. So, therefore, itong income statement cannot answer that question kung ilang percent. So, kailangan natin ng isang analysis tool to show the behavior, the percentage change for the last 3 years ng ating business. Yan. That is the essence of the trend analysis. No? So, the second slide, ito na yung sinasabi kong trend analysis. No? So, using the previous income statement of RFC sa nakarang slide, we're going to prepare the trend analysis for the last 3 years ng RFC Corporation. So ito na yung tinatawag nating trend analysis tool na ginagamit natin how to analyze, no? Yung trend, yung pattern, yung behavior ng inyong mga data for the last 3 years. Now, using 2008 as the base year, we will get the following trend information. Okay, so based sa ating income statement sa previous slide, gawin natin, no? Yung tinatawag nating trend analysis. So first lang, una mong gagawin, so ilagay mo sa taas yung pangalan ng iyong company, the RF Cortez Corporation. Second line, take note guys, no? Hindi na income statement ang nakalagay. Pinalitan natin ang trend analysis kasi ang ginagawa natin sa slide na to is no longer the income statement but the trend analysis. Third line ng ating heading for year 2008 to 2010. So tatlong taon yung ating kina-cover dito. Okay? So the same format, meron ka dyang sales, cost of sales, gross profit, less the expenses is equal to your income before taxes. And you have the income tax and you have the net income of 255. Ayan, no? Now, paano natin nakuha itong mga examples sa 2010 column? Sir, tanong, paano natin nakuha itong 111, 103, 114, 83 hanggang 255? Okay? So once again guys, itong mga percentage na to, we base this on your income statement of 2000 from the previous slide natin. Pinalit lang natin. Okay? Now, how to get the 111, the 106, the 100? Okay? So may tatlong columns dito, 2008, 2009, 2010. Now, yung column number 8, that will be our base year. Kasabi natin kanina, no? Yung pinaka-naunang taon, yung tinatawag nating base year. In this case, 2008. No? So depende sa inyo kung 2021 ginagawa mo, 2021, 2020, 2000. So 2016. Right? Pero dito kasi 2000 hanggang 2010. So the earliest year, 2008, will be your base year. Automatic, no? Yung 2008 column natin, gawin natin siyang 100%. So these are 100%, no? 100 lahat ng 2008 column na data should be 100%. Ulagay natin dyan. O tanong, sir, bakit 100% ang 2008? Kasi ito yung ating tinatawag base year nga, no? So ibig sabihin yan, lahat ng data ng 2009, 2010, we're going to compare that with the data of 2008. Kaya 100% automatically yung ating 2008 column. Okay? Now, the second column is your 2009. So we're going to compare 2009 data with the 2008 column. If I may go back to our previous slide. Diba? Ang 2008 natin is 900 pesos. Ang 2009 is 950. So we're going to compare 950 versus 900. Yan ibig sabihin ng comparison. We're going to compare 570 versus 585. Okay? So kinumpare natin 2009 and 2008. So sa ating current slide, we're going to compare 2009 and 2008. Ibig sabihin, yung data mo nung 2009 na 950 compared by 900, i-divide natin yung 950 by 900. Take note guys, ang 2008 column is always 100%. Okay? So solve natin. 106 divided by 950 divided by 900. Ito yung galing sa previous slide natin. Sabay-sabay tayo. 950 divided by 900, okay, is equal to 105.55 or round off 106 na yan. Okay? So ganun din. Okay. So sa ating sample solution dito, no? Example. I-compare natin yung benta, yung sales ng 2010 compared sa sales ng 2008. So, ganun din, di ba? 1,000, okay? 1,000 divided by 900. Yan ang formula. Okay? So, lagyan natin dito. 1,000 for 2010 sales, guys, na itong box na to. 1,000 divided by 900. Alright? That is equal to 111. Okay? So, ilagay natin dito is 111. So, ganun palagi, no? Always divide the current period by the base period. Ganun. So, 2009 divided by 2008. 2010 divided by 2008. So, palagi nga yung denominator ay yung 2008. Ang numerator ay yung iyong tinatawag na analysis period or your current period. That is how to get the trend. So itong lahat tayo na ay percentage. Ha? Okay? So for 2010 natin, for 2010 cost of sales, tingnan natin. Okay? The previous slide, 2010 cost of sales na. Okay? So 2,600 divided by 585. Okay? So lagyan natin dito, 600 divided by 585. Ang sagot is 103. Okay? So, ganun palagi guys, no? 2010 divided by 2008. 2010 divided by 2008 hanggang makaabot ka sa pinakailalim. Alright? So, tanong, paano pag 5 years ang ating ginagawa? O, ganun din, palagi, no? Basta palagi ang denominator mo to get the percentage. Palagi na denominator mo yung pinakaunang taon or yung pinaka-base year, no? At ang numerator mo ay yung current year na iyong ina-analyze. So, palagi siyang divide. Okay? Now, ang result, mapapansin nyo, no? Ang result now are only 3 digits or 2 digits na lang. So, mas madali siyang i-compare side by side kumpara dun sa naunang mga amount na napakalaki. Of course, mas madali compare ang 106 to 100, right? Mas madali compare ang 97 kaysa 100. Kasi, 3 digits na lang sila. Okay, now, viewing this trend, we can now establish the pattern or the trend ng ating income statement. Mas madalis ang tingnan or i-analyze eh. Example, 2009 versus 2008. Okay? How do you conclude? Aba, yung 2009 pala, tumaas lang pala tayo ng 6% na benta. Kasi 106 versus 100%, di ba? Mas madali na siya. Comparing 2009 and 2010, aba, no 2010 tayo, tumas pala tayo ng 5% from 106 to 111. Okay? So madali na, no? And comparing benta ng 2010 against benta ng 2008, madali na. 2008, 100. 2010, 11%. 111. So, conclude, tumaas pala tayo ng 11% from 2008 hanggang 2010. Ang ating benta ay mas mataas ng 11% compared dun sa 2008. That is the idea, that is the essence of the trend analysis. Mas pwede compare mga percentage kaysa mga amount. Okay? O sa ating expenses, no, gastos. Total gastos, total expenses, no? So, nung 2008, 100. Nung 2009, 98 na lang. Nung 2010, 91. So, maganda kasi habang tumatagal, no, ang ating gastos ay lumiliit. 100, 2008, 2010, 91% na lang. Okay? So madali siyang i-compare, no? Kasi tigta-tatlong digits lang sila. Kasi kung babalikan natin yung ating trend analysis, yung ating income statement, tingnan niyo to ha. Ang ating income statement ay mahirap i-compare kasi mas marami siyang amount. Pag yan ang naging millions, mas mahirap i-compare ang mga millions, no? Pero pag yan ay parehong tigta-tatlong digits, kasi naka-percentage na sila, mas madali siyang i-compare. Diba? For example, sa income before taxes natin, noong 2008, 100. Pero noong 2010, ang ating income is 255. So, kitang-kita natin dyan na lampas-pasad na doble yung ating income or tinubo or kinita, no, nung 2010. Okay? So this is the idea why we are preparing the trend analysis. So tatlong columns lang siya, no? Sometimes you can prepare trend analysis for 5 years or 10 years, no? Kung you want to establish the trend or the pattern ng iyong mga data. Okay? So I hope you got this one, how to prepare the income, the trend analysis for your income statement. Okay, now you can also get the percentage of, pag masyadong maraming columns, example 10 columns, no, 15. So you can use your Excel, you can use your graph in your MS Word or Excel application, no, to establish or to prepare the trend. But at least you know how to construct that manually. Okay, you can get the trend percentage and construct by using your graph. Yan, no? So mas madali siya. Okay, that is in this case, no, example 2006, 2007, 2008 hanggang 2010. That is 5 years, no? Okay? So, ang 2006 yung ating base year. Okay? So pagdating ng 2007, nakita mo dito, no, na halos 200% na siya. Yung kulay green natin, that is the revenue, no? In 2010, revenue kulay green. In 2010, halos 700% na eh, no? So kita-kita natin pagtaas ng ating revenue. In 2006, mga ano lang yan, mga 100% lang eh. But in 2010, that is approximately 700% na. So naging 7-fold na daw yung ating naging benta by just looking at your trend analysis. Ayan, that is the idea of the trend. Whether you are doing that manually or using your graph application sa iyong Word or Excel. So, ganun din yung idea. Nakikita natin yung behavior ng ating mga data. Ayan. So, lipat tayo sa next natin. Next tool. So, after the trend analysis, lipat tayo sa ating vertical analysis. Okay, previously I have discussed yung horizontal na. Pag horizontal kasi you're comparing two successive years. No? Example, yung trend analysis is an example of horizontal. No? Ang vertical naman, you're comparing within 1 year only. You're comparing one data versus another amount, no, sa loob ng isang taon lang. Kasi vertical analysis eh. So we call this the common size. One example of vertical analysis is the common size. Then yung trend analysis is one example of vertical or common or comparative statement. Itong vertical analysis naman, one example nito is the common size statement. Okay? Ang common size statement ay pwede natin gamitin sa balance sheet at sa income statement. So once again, balance sheet, it shows your asset, liability, and capital. Income statement shows your revenue, costs and expenses, and net income of the business. Okay, now, the formula for the common size statement, ito, no? Analysis amount versus base amount. If you can notice, no? The base amount or the denominator, the denominator in your formula is always your base amount. Okay, so analysis amount divided by the base amount times 100, and it will give you your common size percentage. Okay, now pwede natin gamitin ang common size statement sa dalawang klase ng report, the balance sheet and the income statement. Alright? Pag balance sheet ang ating ginagamit, the base amount is your total asset. If you're using the income statement, the base amount is your total revenue. Okay? So, ang base amount ay yung pinakamalaking amount sa loob ng iyong report or loob ng iyong statement or financial statement. Okay, that is the basic formula, no? How to get the common size trend. Okay, I have an example dito, no? An example of common size balance sheet. Okay. So this one is the name of the company is Research in Motion. First line, no? The second line you put here, you write here the common size comparative balance sheet. Yan ang pangalan ng report na ating ginagawa. Comparative balance, common size comparative balance sheet. Third line, as always, now you put in here yung date palagi. So example, no? We are comparing the common size statement for 2010 and 2009. Balance sheet guys, balance sheet. Now, sa balance sheet natin, as I said, for a while guys. Okay, I will resume my presentation. Okay. Alright, now, as I said, ang balance sheet ay pinapakita niyan yung lahat ng asset or lahat ng property, lahat ng ari-arian ng iyong company. Okay, now listed here are all the types of asset or ari-ariya na pwede magkaroon ng iyong company. Example, yung cash are asset or property ng iyong company. The investment, receivable, mga pautang, inventories or stock sa loob ng iyong company. Ano pa? Long-term investment, property, plant, equipment, natagamit, furniture, computers, for example, goodwill. So lahat yan ay asset ang tawag natin. In each asset has an amount, no? So tinotal natin dito, no? Ang pinaka-importanting asset ng iyong company ay yung cash or yung mga pera ng iyong negosyo. We call that the cash and cash equivalent. For 2010, total is 1,550,861. Okay? So yung account receivable naman ng mga pautang is 2,593,742. So may total asset ka or total ari-arian or total property ng business na 10,204,409. Alright? Now, for a while. Okay, now, in 2009, ganoon din, no? Meron ka ring asset ng 2009 totaling to 8,101,372. Okay, now, pag sinabi nating vertical analysis or common size statement, ang percentage na kukunan natin ngayon ay hindi na natin kino-compare ang dalawang taon. Okay? Ang kino-compare natin ngayon sa loob lang ng isang taon, sa loob lang ng isang column ang pagkuha natin ng percentage. If you can recall sa ating trend analysis, no, kino-compare natin mga taon, pero pag sa ating vertical analysis, ang kino-compare natin ay yung mga amount lang sa loob ng isang taon, 2010. Okay? Now, you write here additional columns, dalawang columns pa, and you title that the common size percentage, one for 2010 and one for 2009. Okay? So 2010 column muna tayo. 15%, 0.2, 3.5, 25.4, sir. Saan nakuha yung mga percentage na yan? Okay? So, sabi ko kanina, no, pang vertical analysis, we compare the data within 1 year only. Okay, so yung cash na 15.2%, nakuha natin yan, 1,550,000 divided by 10,204. Okay? Compute natin sabay-sabay, no? Kung tama talaga. So, 1,550,861 divided by 10,204,409. O tama, 15.2. So, ganoon lang, no? Sabi kasi kanina, no? Dinidivide how to get the percentage. Ayan, no? Analysis amount, yung cash, for example, divided by the base amount. Okay? O sir, ano bang base amount natin? Pag income statement, revenue. Pag balance sheet, total asset. Kaya nga dito nakalagay, no? Cash 1,550,000 divided by 10,204 is equal to 15.2. 360,614 divided by 10,204 is equal to 3.5. Hanggang makaabot ka sa dulo. Example sa goodwill, ano? 150,561 divided by 10,204. 1.5. Ang sagot dyan. Following the formula, no? Now, sa 2009, ganoon din. Sa 2009 column na katitingin, 835,546 divided by 8,101. 682,666 divided by 8,101. Alright? So, kuha natin yung 10.3, 8.4. Okay? So, kuha, di ba? Pag vertical analysis, we compare the amount versus the base amount sa loob lang ng isang column o sa loob lang ng isang taon. Okay, now, tingnan natin percentage-wise, no? Yung 2010, ang iyong cash ay 15.2%. Yung 2009, 10.3% lang. Okay? So, kitang-kita natin, di ba? Comparing 15.2 by 10, kita natin na mas mataas ang 5% yung cash mo nung 2010. 15 versus 10. 5% ang difference, di ba? O sa account receivable naman, tingnan na account receivable. Noong 2010, 25%. Noong 2009, 26%. So, how do you conclude? How do you analyze na? Bumaba ng 1% yung iyong account receivable noong 2010. Diba? O total current asset, tingnan mo, no? Total current asset. 57% versus 59%. Bumaba ba yan? 57? Bumaba ng ano, di ba? Ng 2%. Kaya lang, we don't compare, walang value na compare natin dalawang taon eh. Kasi pag vertical analysis, important, no? Ay yung relationship ng 15% sa ating 100%. Ibig sabihin, sa total asset natin or total ari-arian ng iyong company, 15% dyan ay cash. Okay? Sa total ari-arian ng company, ang mga property dyan ay 19%. Diba? Kasi pag tinakpan mo itong column na to, example guys, no? Takpan mo yung percentage column na yan, kunwari wala yan, mahirap natin i-compare, mahirap natin malaman kung yung 1,550,000 ay magkano yon ng 10 million, right? Pero meron kang percentage, nakita mo agad. Yung 15%, yung cash ay 15% lang yan ng total asset mo. Kasi meron ka ditong 100 and 15%. Sa amount, hindi makukuha kagad yan. Okay? O sa 2009 column, tingnan natin. Inventory. Pag sinabi inventory, ito yung mga stock natin na binibenta sa mga customers natin. In 2009, yung inventory mo ay 8% lang ng iyong total asset. Yan ibig sabihin ng 8.4%. 8% lang ng total, no? Ang iyong inventory or mga stock. So that is the beauty, that is the advantage na nagpe-prepare ka ng vertical analysis. So much useful sa yung vertical comparing the percentage, no, per item compared to the base amount. That is for the balance sheet. Okay? Now, pwede mo rin gamitin ang vertical analysis sa iyong income statement. Okay? O pakita ko muna dito yung computation. How did we arrive sa mga percentage na yan? No? Example, sa yung 15.2%, that is the formula. 1,550,000 divided by 10 to 04 times 100. Sa 2009, ganun din. 835,546 divided by 8101 times 100 na is equal to your 10.3%. Ayan. So that is the beauty, no? That is the beauty of you know how to prepare the vertical analysis. Okay. Now, sabi ko kanina, pwede mong gamitin din ang vertical analysis sa ating income statement. Okay, this is an example of income statement. So the same thing, first line, ilagay mo dyan yung pangalan ng iyong business, the research and motion, for example. Second line, you write here the common size comparative income statement naman. Kanina kasi balance sheet, diba, ating pinag-usapan. And third line, you write here the years covered. For years ended February 27, 2010 and February 2009. So, 2 taon. Okay, now, first column. Ilagay mo dyan yung mga item na makikita mo sa loob ng iyong income statement. Ang pinakaunang amount siyempre, no, ay yung benta. Yun naman ang unang ginagawa para magkaroon ka ng net income, di ba? Magbenta ka muna. Okay, revenue minus cost of sales. Pag sinabing cost of sales, ito yung mga puhunan natin. Okay? Then, ibawas mo na lahat ng gastos or expenses ng company para makuha mo ang iyong net income na 2,457,000. So, benta minus puhunan minus gastos is equal to your tubo or net income. So, that is the basic for both years, no? 2010 and 2009. Noong 2010, ang benta mo is 14,953,224. Puhunan is 8,368,000. At ang pinakatubo is 2,457,144. Okay, now, magtatanong ka, di ba? Yung net income mo or tubo, ilang percent yun ng iyong benta? Di ba? Yung puhunan mo, ilang percent yun ng iyong benta? Yung mga gastusin, ilang percent yun ng iyong benta? May tanong kang ganun, di ba? That is the reason why we're going to show yung percentage ng bawat item in comparison to the base amount. Okay, now, the base amount sa ating income statement ay mag-iiba na. Kasi sa balance sheet, no? Ang base amount sa balance sheet is the total asset. But the base amount for the income statement is your revenue. Therefore, pag nag-divide tayo, no? Ang ating denominator is now the total revenue ng ating income statement. So therefore, the revenue or the base amount should always be 100%. So consistent tayo dyan, no? Sa trend analysis, ang base year is always 100%. Sa balance sheet, vertical analysis, the base amount is always 100%. So dito rin ganun din. The revenue is your base amount, so therefore revenue is also 100%. Okay? Gusto mo malaman, itong 8,368 na puhunan, ilang percent yan ng iyong revenue? So, di-divide lang natin. 8,368 divided by 14 is equal to 56%. So, lahat yan guys, lahat ng gusto mong makuha ang percentage, i-divide mo yan palagi ng iyong total revenue. Okay? Example, sa gross margin. Ilang percent ng revenue yung gross margin? So, ganun na, divide mo rin yung 6,584 divided by 14,953. Sorry for this one. Video na wala. Okay, so once again, I'm going to show the, yung sa income statement. Diba, sabi natin, diba? In getting the percentage, pag income statement ginagamit natin, the revenue is your base amount. So ginagawa natin exactly like that, no? We divide the item by the total revenue. For example, if you want to get the 56%, paano ko ang 56? 8,368, ito yan, divided by the total revenue na 14, and you will get 56. That is 56%. Ibig sabihin, sa 2010 column, yung total puhunan mo is 56% ng iyong revenue. Yan ibig sabihin yan. Sa 100 pesos mo, 56 pesos dyan ay puhunan. Yan ibig sabihin. Alright? And how about the other amount? So ganun din. Let's go to your 2009 column. Yung 5,967,888 divide by ng 11 million para makuha mo yung 53.9. Sa 2009, sa 100 pesos mo, 53 pesos dyan ay puhunan. Yan ang ibig sabihin niya. Now, if you're going to go to your net income, yung pinaka-bottom line, no? Itong pinaka-ilalim, okay? Ito yung importanteng gusto mong alaman minsan, di ba? Sa 100 pesos na benta ko noong 2010, ilan doon ang napunta sa kita? So madaling tingnan sa 2010 column. Sa 2010 column, sa bawat 100 na benta mo, 16.4 pesos ang kinita mo. And how did you get the 16.4? So ganun din. 2,457,000 divided by 14,953. Kuha mo yung 16, no? So ganun din sa 2009. In 2009, sa about 100 pesos na benta mo, 17 pesos ang iyong kinita. How did you get this one? 1892, 2009 column, 1892 divided by 11 million o 65, and you will get the 17. Okay, now madali mag-compare, no? Nung 2010, sa bawat 100 pesos, 16 ang kinita. Pero nung 2009, sa bawat 100 pesos, 17 ang iyong kinita. Alright, that is the significance, no, of the vertical analysis. We can compare each item to the base amount, and we can know now how to compare 2010 to periods, no? Kung which period is the more profitable for the company. So comparing 2000 and 2010, 2000 is more profitable than 2010 kasi 17 versus 16. 17 pesos versus 16 pesos sa every 100 na benta. So mas profitable ng 1 peso yung year 2009. Okay, that is the essence, no, of your vertical analysis. Okay, so using the trend, using the vertical for income statement and balance sheet, at least now you have now an idea how to analyze the performance of your company using the balance sheet and using the income statement, using the vertical analysis. So at least you can now decide for your company, no? You're not going to hire anymore an accountant, no? You can do this basically, no? Ito mga trend or mga tools na to. Okay, so once again, for my credit, I use some images from Google. And once again, this has been Dr. Cortez. Okay, so signing off and see you again in our next presentation, next lessons. See you around, guys. Thank you.